Hello everyone, it is Justice, and today I'm going to be kind of catching up on things and kind of explaining what I like to do if I have skipped some space in my planner. I'm sure that many of you either have in the past or currently have some parts of your planners that have been skipped and that you need to fill in at some point. Some of you may be even procrastinating getting back to your planner because you're afraid to look back at those spots that have been made sparse. And today, I'm going to kind of bite the bullet of shame and kind of show you what's been happening. Um, I'm going to kind of brainstorm what I like to do whenever I don't have pages filled in, because I know that the obvious thing to do is, oh, well, backfill it. What did you do that day? But whenever I go through these periods of time where I can't really pick up my planner, it's usually for a period of time, not just a day or two. And so I personally cannot remember what in the world has been going on. And to kind of fill you in just a little bit, I have had some not super awesome family things happen. And so I have been struggling keeping my planner up to date for this past month or so. And so there are entire days, and then I don't really have entire weeks not filled in because during my weekly spreads, I at least know what I do for work and kind of figure out what I do around there because I'm just like, oh, well, I only have 2 days off a week. What did I possibly do on those 2 days? I can kind of figure it out. But as far as like the daunting entire day spreads, I have no idea what I can possibly write. And so, what I like to do is write quotes. With quotes, it can either be quotes that are meaningful to me, song lyrics, or honestly just whatever I'm thinking about, but just write it in quote form. Or another thing I like to do is whenever I am watching TV, I also like to just write down what I hear. I like to ramble on about whatever in the world it is that I'm thinking. I like to use washi tape and stickers to fill in space, and that one honestly is going to be a lifesaver, even for the spreads that you do write in, just to make it a little bit less daunting so you can make the page more inviting for yourself. Use it as journal space. It doesn't have to be about that specific day. It can be just whatever you're thinking in that moment. Just use it as journal space for whatever day you are filling it in on. And for me, I like to date it. So you can date it, you could leave it as is. It honestly doesn't really matter. You can use it for lists. I know that Amanda Rach Lee, she is one to do like playlists. So you can do that. You can do what I like to do whenever it's a lazy day, or my favorite snack foods. You can write out goals and aspirations. I'm trying to avoid that in 2020/2021 because that's a little ambitious for me right now, really. Not doing that. Word vomit slash stream of thought. That kind of goes into the same bullet point of ramble on about whatever. And then my last two little bullet points, they don't really count as ideas, but just don't feel guilty about, oh, well, I didn't fill in this page. I won't have the perfect planner where I write in it every single day anymore. Just don't feel guilty, do it, because at the end of the year, you are going to feel more successful knowing that you have tried your best rather than being like, oh, well, I missed this day and so the entire planner is ruined. I have had that problem a lot, which is why I did go to bullet journaling for so many years. Because with a standard planner, if I missed one day in my Aspie brain, I was just like, it's completely ruined. Like, there's no salvaging it, it's gone forever. In my head, I will know that on this day, June 15th, I skipped a page. But I've kind of gotten over that over the years. I've kind of had to force myself to, mainly because my very first dabble back into actual planners with dates on them that aren't bullet journals was this Hobonichi. And if you are new here and you're new to the stationery world, Hobonichi is a pretty expensive brand. And so for me, I was like, okay, I may have missed these days, but I'll be damned if I do not fill out these pages. Like, this is probably a nickel every single page. I didn't actually do the math or anything, but now I'm really curious to know what it would actually be per page if you break it down, which I'm probably going to edit in here. But I had to pause the microphone for a second because I got too worked up and sneezed. But you know what I mean, where it's like, this paper is far too dear to just skip over. So I've kind of forced myself to get over myself and be like, yeah, no, even if you mess up, even if you miss a page, this is more about the completion aspect than anything else. Like, just get through it, girl. You have wanted this planner for so long. Cherish every little bit of it. And cherishing it, I will, because I really love Tomoe River paper. I've seen more companies come out with papers that are similar, and I also really want to try onion skin paper now. But as of what I have tried, Tomoe River paper is the end all be all for me at this moment. Who knows where I'll be 1 week, 1 year, 5 years from now, but I really love this paper, and so it's really not pulling teeth for me to use it. Back to my idea where I was talking about onion paper though. I have been seeing Anna of Girl and Quill use her onion paper journal, and I have been talking to my friend Inlay as well, and I'm just like, okay, whenever I finish my horrible A6 Stalogy diary that I have right now, instead of going along with my original plan of just using up what I have, and if you're curious about what I have to use up, I will link above the oh god, the video. That's the word I was looking for. The video I have of journals that I have and hope to use up either this year or sometime soon. I think instead of doing that, I'm going to actually get an onion skin, because seeing all of the pictures that Anna posts, I'm just like, well, this looks real nice. This looks like something that I would enjoy, right up my alley. We'll see if I do actually go along with it, but it is something that is tempting me right now. I haven't bought an awful lot of stationery since we last talked. I think the only thing that I have actually purchased is a $20 Kaweco Sport that I found on Amazon. It was pretty cheap compared to the other ones that I found, so for $20 for the pen plus the little pen clip, I figured that wasn't too bad. It's honestly the cheapest pen that I own now. I think maybe ever, because I also had a Pilot Metropolitan back in the day. I think they were right around $20, maybe 23. So yeah, I think this is the least expensive pen that I've ever had. I'll have to look up the current price of a Pilot Metropolitan to see. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I had to fact check myself. I am completely wrong. Pilot Metropolitans are currently like $17, $18, depending on where you get them from. So that was just a complete fabrication of my mind. It's been probably, God, I was like 16 whenever I got my first fountain pen. So it has been probably 8 years, because I'm currently 23 going on 24, since I last bought a Pilot Metropolitan. So, things in the past and how your brain kind of recreates them, and the whole thing about every time you remember a memory, it becomes less real. Anyways, it is not the least expensive fountain pen I've ever had. It is the second least expensive fountain pen. My bad. Back on to the actual journal and what's going on. What I'm doing for this page is I have glued down that pink stripy piece of paper. I actually have that as part of my random letter writing set. I have a packet of multiple sheets of paper that are just all different, all very cute for pen paling. I glued that down because I don't know if you saw, but my pen was actually bleeding through quite a bit on that page, and I wanted to cover it up. Now, this paper does not typically bleed through. The reason why it did is because I used a flex nib pen that is not meant to be a flex nib pen, aka my Pilot Falcon. And so every so often on the very thin Tomoe River paper, it'll start to cut the paper, because whenever I press down to make it flex, it adds quite a lot of pressure, and the nib is very sharp as well. And so if that's the case, it cuts the paper a little bit and then the ink can bleed through. What makes Tomoe River paper so great is even though it's super thin, like Bible-y thin, there is a coating on top of it that ink can sit on and then it dries. It doesn't really soak into the fibers of the paper like in other notebooks. And so if you cut a hole in it or you make an abrasion in it, it is far more likely to seep through, as I have discovered with my Flex pen. So, on days that I do heavily use it, like for quotes or for extensive lists, then I do kind of prepare myself to be like, okay, well, this is one of the pages that you are going to have to allot to be used for a more bulky purpose. That is a very convoluted way of saying I have to prepare myself mentally to have a more bulky page and in my head know, hey, this page is going to be bulky so that I don't plan another bulky page very soon after it. Because if you're new around here, although I love washi tape, I love stickers, I love tip-ins, I hate a chunky monkey notebook. It really bothers me. Like the thickness where we are right now is probably the most that I want it to be, ideally. Realistically, I know that's not going to happen because I'm only halfway through it and I've still got a long ways to go. This insert doesn't actually end until July, and so it's currently April, May, June, July. I've got like 3 months left, so I really have half of it left, and I've already made it the thickness that I want it to be. So it's probably going to be doubly as thick, and that freaks me out, and I don't want to think about that. And oh God, I don't want it to be thick. That being said, though, I kind of have to go with the way that I've decorated at this point because I'm also very particular in continuity. And so I don't want to have the first 3 months being like, oh, well, there's washi tape and there's stickers. Every so often I've taped something in. Oh, look, I've got like sprocket photo printouts. And then the next 3 months be absolutely nothing but pen to paper. That is going to bother me so much flipping through it. And I don't really know how you guys are with your notebooks, but something that I get joy out of is as I am using it, I like to kind of flip through the pages, see how I feel about everything. It is really grounding to me to flip through my pages and kind of see what previous layouts look like. Maybe not to read through the pages, I don't think I really do that all that much, but just seeing the pages and how they're laid out, that makes me really happy. So, kind of flipping through it, seeing the first half being all decorative, and then the second half being like, wah wah, that's just going to throw my little neurotic brain into a tizzy. So, we'll see. It's kind of a catch-22 at this point, because either I can keep it this ideal thickness, and then have my continuity just completely thrown out the window, or I can continue with kind of how it looks, and then just have an extra chubby notebook. You know, as I'm saying this out loud, I think it is just asinine to be thinking about this. Like, it's kind of like that Kardashian meme where it's like, people are dying, Kim, because there are far more things in the world that I could be worried with and probably should be worried with. But I know that those of you that have hobbies, especially if you're in the stationery community, that you're going to have those arguments with yourself and be like, you know, this is a very small thing where anyone outside of the hobby will likely not care at all. And yet I have pondered about it for a good 3 hours now. I think that Adventure Denali was talking about that recently, about how one can just sit down and think about things for a very long time, even though in the grand scheme of things, it's not that important. And you know, I really want to embrace that. As much as I am making fun of myself because I'm stepping out of my shoes and being like, you know, if someone were going into this much detail about something that I personally don't care about, like if they were going into this much detail about the form in which you need to golf or something like that, I would glaze over and be like, is it really that important, dog? But here I am, just blabbing on about my own hobby. And that's exactly what I want to do with this video also. I don't typically post videos that are this long, mainly because it just really worries me. I personally love watching videos that are 20 plus minutes long because I personally am just very relaxed by listening to someone ramble on about something that is also a special interest for me. But I always get nervous whenever it comes to myself because the whole self doubt pops in and the imposter syndrome and all of that, where I'm like, no one really wants to hear me just go on and on about first world problems essentially for a half an hour. But I just love whenever people do that. Like, I also, aside from journaling, I watch a lot of like beauty YouTubers and like food YouTubers and like mukbangers, and they're talking about absolutely nothing, but it's my version of reality TV, and it just is so nice. And so I kind of wanted to contribute to that. Speaking of reality TV, I have watched Bling Empire on Netflix 3 times now. um, One of my coworkers was telling me about it and how it's essentially like the Real Housewives, but mixed with Crazy Rich Asians. And it is fantastic. I just love how out of touch everyone is. It's so amazing. I love it. And it's also just one of those things to where you picture yourself in their lives and you're like, oh, my BFF, um, we're just going to go to Paris now and have a private shopping spree. Like, that's a beautiful daydream right there. I love that. I've also been rereading Pride and Prejudice. I haven't actually picked up that book in years, and so having kind of a little miniature book club with it is really nice because it's really encouraging for me to actually get through it. As much as quarantine seems like the time where reading again kind of naturally occurs, I have been avoiding it like the plague. I don't think that I have actually picked up and read a book in quite a while. Now, I do read a lot of webtoons. Um, I probably read a webtoon every single night before bed because it's just become my routine now. But actually holding a paper book is so difficult for me because if I'm reading it before bed, then I need to have light. And if I have light, then it's going to keep me up. Or if I do decide to have like a book light or something, then by the time I'm tired, I'm going to have to actually close it nicely, then put it on my table, then do all that. And realistically, like going over it with my voice, it's not that big a deal. But whenever I'm actually there, it just seems like such a hassle to me. Especially whenever I could just have my phone, which I already have to set my alarm on, and then read that a little bit, press the lock button, put it down under my pillow, and then go to bed. And, ooh, sorry, I hit my microphone. I know those studies that are like, oh, you really shouldn't sleep with your electronics because waves and things like that. I have no idea the validity of it. I don't care. I like to have my phone under my pillow because the vibration alarm is actually what wakes me up a lot of the time. Of course, there is the sound itself, but the vibration of the phone wakes me up enough. And so I do that. Whenever I was in high school, I had to do the super obnoxious thing of having my alarm get louder and louder and louder, and I had it set up to my speakers in my room, and I had to walk all the way across the room and go get it, otherwise I would lay in bed. I am not the same person. I have learned to be a morning person, and it's really great. I don't know how many of you are morning people, but I like to get out of bed, and now that we have a dog, I let the dog out. And then I make my coffee. I do a pour over coffee so it takes a little bit. I can't just press a button and go. And that is a good process to wake me up and kind of do something tactile and repetitive in the morning. And then I also make breakfast. One of my favorite breakfasts is like egg whites, mushrooms, piece of toast with some butter, and then my coffee. That's really nice. Um, Bacon, egg, and cheese is also nice, but that's usually a weekend meal in our house. I like to reserve more heavy breakfasts as a happy weekend thing instead of a, oh, I do this every single day thing, because I am a creature of habit. And if I have a breakfast that I like, it will be a breakfast that I have every single day for the next 3 months. One of my more, oh God, I don't even know, one of my more indulgent breakfast things that I've gone through. This was a couple years back now, but I had a piece of flatbread, 2 eggs with the yolk still a little bit soft, and then shredded cheddar cheese melted on top, and then maple syrup. And so I kind of made like a flatbread sandwich with eggs, cheese, and maple syrup. Super indulgent. I had that every day for like months. Um, Needless to say, by the time I cut it out, I was a few pounds heavier, and so I had to kind of get that back down with a less calorific breakfast. But that was a good streak right there, let me tell you. What kind of breakfasts do you guys like to have? Like I said, right now I'm kind of doing egg whites, mushrooms, and butter toast with my coffee. Another thing that I really like to do is just hummus and bread, or bread and jam. I have way too much bread. This is a thing in my family. As much as Danny, my fiance, would love for us to cut out bread so that we can lead healthier lifestyles, my family just needs it. Like my mother, she's so funny. Whenever she tries to diet and things like that, one of the first things that she tries to cut out is bread. And then she always goes back to it because she's just like, I am just too angry of a person without it. And over the years, I don't even think she really has much bread anymore at all, which is amazing because I've always grown up with her as, okay, we're going to the market and we're going to get some bread from the bakery and we're going to get like 4 loaves at a time. See you next week. And so it's really funny seeing how things evolve and things change, because I think a lot of times we're stuck on the concept of ourselves evolving and changing, and we don't really focus on the character evolutions of people around us, the different arcs. Speaking of which, I saw a joke today on the internet where it was like, I think that we've all gone through our own character arcs during quarantine. Mine was a villain character arc, in case you're wondering. I was like, oh wow, that's really great. I sent it to my Dungeons and Dragons group because it coincides super well with one of the warlocks that we play with, but that gave me a good old giggle. And again, going back to the journal, I've kind of finished filling in at this point the daily spreads that I've had blank, and now I'm going back into the weekly spreads. And like you can see, I do have stuff written down that isn't too difficult for me to kind of backfill, if you will, because like I said, in a week, I know that there's going to be set times and set hours where I am at work, I am at lunch, I am driving. And so figuring out what I'm doing during my free time isn't really that big of a deal because I have so little of it. And I am actually doing my time blocking now. As a reminder, every single week of 2021 so far, I have time blocked with my highlighters. So this blue color that I'm doing right now is sleep. This pink color that I'm going in with is personal time. And so I use that for whenever I am getting ready for my day, or whenever I'm sitting down with my journal, or whenever I am just laying down, playing on my phone, that type of thing. That is this pink color. And you're going to see more colors, like I think I have a more red right now. It's very difficult to tell on camera. Okay, yeah, that's a red. I use that for exercise. And so exercise can be like actually a workout, like walking on my lunch break or doing sit-ups, crunches, all those things, or walking the dog. As long as it is me moving my body, then I'm counting it. I do also have a pastel purple. That is time that I spend with Danny. I have like a mint colored blue green. That is time spent at work. Yellow is meetings or appointments. Gray is driving. The like lime green color I have is being social. And I'll see if I remember any other colors from watching the screen, but I think that's about it. Ooh, teal. Teal color is doing chores. And like I said, I'll update you if I see a color that I have for some reason forgotten about. But time blocking. I am going to continue on with this year using the same colors and the same mild liners, but I think that moving forward, I would really like to try a different type of highlighter. I was watching a Jet Pens video, and they were saying that while mild liners are very popular because of their colors, being mild and all, yeah, love it, they are known for smudging. And so that makes a lot of sense as to why I was having problems with my original time blocking idea, in which I color in the entire block. And so I'm thinking, once this year ends, I'm going to try out a different type of highlighter, and hopefully it will smear less, because I would really love for all of 2022 to be full color time blocks, because that is just so much nicer to look at than just the little time strips. But also, I think it will very much depend where my markers are by then as well. Because if they're still writing just fine, then there's really no need for me to buy an entire new set of these highlighters, because they are expensive. Like, stationary hobby type highlighters are not cheap. So if they're still doing fine and the nibs are doing well and they still seem really juicy, then whatever. But if they're kind of mushed in, starting to go dry, then I think that that will be a perfect excuse for me to indulge in this new idea. Also, keep in mind, shopping is very much a behavior that I engage in whenever I am stressed. I think that a lot of people do that. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like therapy shopping, shopping therapy. And so, me just idealizing these things and the lifestyle that comes along with them is absolutely something that I do. Really shouldn't. That's why I keep wish lists, or at least I try to keep wish lists and follow the, oh, well, I'm going to let it sit a month, and if I still like it the next month, then I'll consider buying it. In theory, that works great. Whenever I can just press one button on my phone and it's purchased is a whole other story. I've done pretty okay with stationery though, like I did buy that pen. I have not purchased any additional inks, any additional notebooks, nothing like that. I did purchase a new purse. I have a fossil messenger bag now, and I might do a video on that. So that was kind of a big purchase that I am counting towards my stationery as well, because in my head, my purse is mainly for stationery anyways. Like, I have my wallet. My wallet is my planner zip case from Galen. And then everything else that goes in that dang bag is pencil pouches, more pens. Oh, my pouch of highlighters that I don't use every day, but I feel the need to bring with me everywhere because I feel lost without having all of my things with me at all times. I don't need a purse. I need a stationary carrier. And that's essentially what it is. And I actually bought that because my current bag, or rather my past bag, the bag that was current when I was actively making my order, was a Dooney & Burke purse, just a regular, like, hold it in the crook of your arm type of bag, and it held everything I needed. But I just wanted to be a hoarder and carry everything else also. Thus comes the need for my messenger bag. But it's really cool. The more I talk about it, I think I really will make a video because I do enjoy it. And whenever I was looking to purchase it, I didn't see any reviews for it on YouTube. So maybe I'll be the first. We'll see. But otherwise, my stationery spending has been pretty okay. Right now, it's just a lot of like Oh, the dog ate this. Oh, the dog ate that. Oh, I had no idea that the dog had a taste for my sandals, so I guess we have to buy a new pair type of thing. Oh, he also ate the cord to my external hard drive at one point, so that was really fun because even if I wanted to make a video, I couldn't because my laptop does not have memory. So without that external hard drive, it is useless. And so I had to, one, bite the bullet and actually purchase it, and then two, wait for shipping. So that was also an ordeal. He also ate the extension cord that I use to plug in my filming lights. So again, even if I wanted to just record videos and stockpile them, that was not possible for a little bit there. So I'm sorry. Anyways, I am decorating the spread a little bit with these feather stickers. I have to say, I hate feathers, but I really need to use these stickers because they came in a pack that I purchased, and I really don't want to just throw away an entire thing of feather stickers. And so I've been trying to use them wherever I can. I personally find feathers to be a little bit tacky, and they're really huge compared to the other stickers that I use. But they're getting used up. What can I say? I am part of the oh, life is too short, why use stickers that you hate type of thing. But also I am part of the it's literally just a sticker. You spent money on this thing, you may as well use it. And so that is also an internal conflict within me. I'm sure that many of you feel that way as well. I am still very torn because I feel both of those things. Maybe later on in life I'll feel a little bit differently, but as of right now, I am still. I think my collection is small enough slash large enough. Like it's still fairly contained, but it's also enough to where I do have options to where I feel obligated to use my items so that I can then buy more, you know? Because I think it's one thing if you have like an entire room of stationery and you're like, okay, I'm never going to physically use this in my entire life. Like, let's just go on with what I love. I feel like that's a little bit different. Because for me, I just have like a box of stickers. It's not even like a shoebox or anything. It's literally the box that my Hobonichi came in. I have that with a couple sticker packs. Once I finish those, I'll buy more. Okay. Anyways, I hope that you guys have really enjoyed my half-hour long rant. I would love to see how this type of video goes. In my head, I like watching these a ton, but I also understand that a half hour of stationary rambling is not for everyone. So please feel free to comment your thoughts, answer any questions that you would like to answer that I've asked during this video, and of course, like and subscribe if you would like to see more. I would like to also say that my planner is a Hobonichi Cousin Avec. The pen that I am using is a Pilot Vanishing Point with a fine nib, and my ink is Noodler's Lexington Gray. I think that's about it. Goodbye, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!